see what I have here? Certain age to remain nameless. Yeah, Sora.
Are we on? Okay. Just checking. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is so lovely to see you guys braving the cold tonight. Cold Sacramento.
What a concept.
And coming and to warm our hearts and our spirits by joining us for Shabbat services tonight. It's the fourth of our series of 4 Shabbatot, a special Shabbatot where we're doing something a little different, a little experimental. I hope everybody has a song sheet, a handout as you came in, as well as the Shabbat flyer. Tonight, our focus of our service, and in truth, the focus of almost every service in Judaism, is about healing. Because when we talk about healing, what we're really talking about is searching for a sense of wholeness within ourselves, a sense of wholeness between ourselves and others, a sense of wholeness with us and the world, a sense of wholeness with us and with God. When we speak about healing, it comes in different ways. It comes as a spiritual quest, as well as a physical quest. And in Judaism, when we pray for healing, we pray for the two together. Because we know that our mental, our physical, our spiritual health is like a braided candle, each one interwoven. Braided, unable to come apart. So we begin tonight with a prayer that's on our song sheet, Olam, Olam Chesed Yibnei, a song that was actually written to desire a sense of healing of the world. A song that was a prayer written by Rabbi Menachem Creditor after the attacks on 9/11.
Olam chesed yibaneh, adonai, Olam chesed yibaneh, adonai, Olam chesed yibaneh, adonai, Olam chesed yibaneh, adonai. I will build this world from love, adonai. And you must build this world from love, adonai. And if we build this world from love, then God will build this world from love. Olam chesed yibaneh, Olam chesed yibane. Da-da-dai, da-da-dai-dai-dai. Olam chesed yibane. Da-da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Olam chesed yibane. Da-da-dai, da-da-dai-dai-dai.
Olam chesed ibaneh, chesed, one of those beautiful qualities of God that also are potentially human, is the notion and the motion towards empathy, sympathy, and compassion. And where compassion resides, anger cannot reside. It's one or the other. Actually, give it a try sometimes. When something really, really, really makes you angry, just try to look at it from a different perspective, from the perspective of the person in front of you suffering, maybe had a hard day, or just the cards they were dealt were not the best ones to play the game of life. And there it goes. The anger just evaporates into the air, and compassion fills our hearts. And maybe that is one of the ways that we can build Olam Chesed, a world of compassion and loving kindness. So one of the things we do to build Olam Chesed is to always hold on to hope. I feel like hope is such an important component of human, spirituality and existence, especially watching the news and thinking about people that again are feeling so unsafe and unstable in the Ukraine as we speak. And so the first thing to do when we think of hope is to light. Bela Nelson said that you can't fight the darkness with sticks. The only way to fight darkness is to enhance the light. So in our doing things a little different theme of the last couple of weeks, I'd like to invite you to come up and choose a pair of candles, or just one, and light the candle and stay there for a little bit. We'll say the bracha together and we'll all light candles together. So just feel free to get up, and friends at home, if you have your Shabbat candles handy, just grab them to where you are and feel free to light a couple of candles and stand next to them. See them light a little bit. You can just let the little flames project into your soul.
Oh, sure.
Go ahead and light the candles. We're good. We're going to first light them. That's the difference between a Chanukiah and Shabbat candles, right? Shabbat candles we light first and say the bracha after. Chanukiah, it's the opposite.
Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you.
Let's collect the light. Collect the light from the week, the warmth, the sunshine, the smiles, good surprises.
And let
Close our eyes.
Say, Amen. Let us light these lights, see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
Amen. And you may find your seats. And this is a good time to maybe lean over to a loved one or think of someone you love. Think of the child within you. We are following tradition with blessing the children. Blessing the children, our physical, our biological children, and the children within us. And also feeling like a child, which I think is always an important moment in spirituality, to sort of just go back to that innocent, simple, and important part of our lives. So please feel free to join me in the blessing of the children. יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
כן יהי רצון.
יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה.
כן יהי
יהי
רצון.
רצון.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום. יברכך אדוני וישמרך. יאר אדוני פניו אלייך ויחונך. יישא אדוני פניו אלייך וישם לך שלום. אמן. כן יהי רצון.
כן יהי רצון.
כן יהי רצון.
The Kabbalists in Sfat added 6 psalms before the evening prayer, and each psalm was supposed to help us separate from the week, one by one. Sunday, Monday, you know, in Judaism it actually starts on Sunday, right?
Yes.
Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm going to ask you to do this, but you can't cheat and take out your calendar on Google, okay? I want you to try to remember what you did on Sunday. I know, it's challenging. And for this first mizmor, this first psalm, we're going to do, actually, it's a song, Yedid Nefesh, on page 128. Try to find a connection between that song and Sunday, and keep on going. The next one will be Monday, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday. And if we sort of go back and try to trace where we were this week, we end up appreciating where we've been and entering Shabbat. 128, Yedid Nefesh.
ידיד נפש על הרחמן, ידיד נפש על הרחמן, משוכב דך אל רצונך, משוכב דך אל רצונך. ירוץ עבדך כמו אייל, ישתחווה אל מול הדרך. ידיד נפש על הרחמן, ידיד נפש על הרחמן, משוכב דך אל רצונך משוכבך, לי 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 לי, אל רצונך. מה יפה היום
128.
שבת שלום, מה יפה היום שבת שלום, שבת שבת שלום, שבת שבת שלום, שבת שבת שלום, שבת שלום. מה יפה היום שבת שלום, מה יפה היום שבת שלום.
132. אור זרוע.
אור זרוע לצדיק וישרה לשמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק וישרה לשמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק וישרה לשמחה, וישרה לשמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק וישרה לשמחה, וישרה לשמחה. לי 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 לאור זרוע לצדיק וישרה לשמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק וישרה לשמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק וישרה לשמחה, וישרה לשמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק וישרה לשמחה, וישרה לשמחה.
שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, 133.
שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו שירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song, all the earth, a new song unto God. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along, all the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai, Shiru shir chadai. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song, all the earth, a new song unto God. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along, all the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru, shiru, l'Adonai, kol haaretz, shiru, shiru, l'Adonai, shiru, shir chadai.
In modern Hebrew, the word for song and poem are the same. We use the word shir for both. So maybe another translation could be compose or write a new poem for God and not only sing a new song. And back home, as we probably said before in Cholon, what we do after this psalm is to actually read poetry, one piece of poetry as one of the psalms. And today we chose a poem by Rachel Blaustein. And she was born in Russia and immigrated to Palestine in 1909. She lived between the years of 1890 and 1931. She was very young when she passed away. She was ill. And when she was sitting probably in an urban setting, trying to get better from her illness, she was longing the days that she was one of the chalutzot, one of the pioneers in then the small and new settlement of Kinneret, just next to the Sea of Galilee. And she wrote these words while she was missing those days. Ve'ulai, it's in Hebrew, and the translation is perhaps. Perhaps it was never so. Perhaps I never woke early and went to the fields to labor in the sweat of my brow. Brow.
Very different.
Very different. I said it and I felt it. I'll say it again. Brow. I never woke early and went to the fields to labor in the sweat of my brow, nor in the long blazing days of harvest, on top of the wagon with sheaves, made my voice ring with song, nor bathed myself clean in the calm blue water of my Kinneret. Oh, my Kinneret, were you there, or did I only dream? Page 129, Ki Eshmera Shabbat.
Ki eshmer Shabbat Ishmereini. Ki eshmer Shabbat Ishmereini. Oti leomehai beino uveini. Oti leomehai beino uveini. Ki eshmer Shabbat Ishmereini. Ki eshmer Shabbat Ishmereini. Oti leomehai beino uveini. Oti leomehai beino uveini.
Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Let's receive the face of Shabbat. But let's also receive our Shabbat faces. What does a Shabbat face look like? Is it a... You taught me that word this week, Rabbi.
That's my Shabbat.
No, but you said your rest face.
Oh, yes, that usually,
It's a different connotation, isn't it?
resting face usually implies something else, but yes.
Okay, so I'm learning my English here. There's a difference between a bra and a bro and a
Well, a brow, but in fairness, I've worked on a kibbutz, and the sweat could have been on her brow or
that is
on her
true.
brow.
That
Yeah.
is true. But think of your Shabbat face. What is your relaxed, natural face? The face that isn't trying hard. It's just there. It's just a really calm, present, relaxed face. So when I say Lecha Dodi, I think about how I'm greeting the face of Shabbat, but how I'm also enabling my face to turn into Shabbat mode. Lecha dodi, likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela.
Can I say a word about
Of course, 139.
how I am
138.
preparing myself for the entry of the Shabbos bride, the Shabbos queen?
Sure.
I just wanted to talk a minute about this talit that I'm wearing. This is a talit from the women of the wall in Israel, the women who are struggling for the civil right to pray like Jews at the Kotel, where when they go there, they have nasty things done to them. So there's a group in Israel, and there's a civil rights organization in Israel that supports them. The director of it is Anat Hoffman, and she's been here many times. And when we wear this talit, we support Anat and the women of the wall and the struggle for equality in Israel. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabla lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabla shamor וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל קהל חי אדוני אחד ושמו אחד שם אל תפארת בלי תהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה שבת שלום שבת שלום שבת שלום נקבלה התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני נגלה שבת שלום שבת שלום שבת שלום נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה שבת שלום שבת שלום שבת Shalom nekabla, nekabla.
It's my pleasure tonight to invite Dr. Adar Cohen to the Bima to give a Devar Torah. I'm hoping most people have had a chance to meet Adar already. He is not only the very proud husband of Rabbi Galit and one of the co-founders of Congregation Kodesh V'chol, and a very proud father, but he is also quite a scholar in his own right, a leading scholar in Israel. For those of you who do not know, who just got tenure at Hebrew University, which to get tenure after you left the country is quite impressive. And so it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Cohen to the Bima.
Thank you.
You okay with that? Wherever you want.
Okay. Yeah. נכון. זהו.
Ah, face.
It's always good to have your wife in the audience, right? So someone can explain you what you should do. It's Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We are this week in Parashat Vayakhel. So Bnei Israel, the Israelites, were ordered to build a Mishkan, a tabernacle, some kind of a big tent that will function as a movable place for worship. Building the Mishkan was a collective project of an emerging people. This crowd had not yet become a nation and had to go through a process of becoming a nation, or what political scientists call a nation-building process. Therefore, our parasha begins with the unforgettable phrase in Shmot Lamed-Hey, Vayakhel Moshe et kol adat bnei Israel. Moses then assembled all the community of the Israelites. In Exodus chapter 35, verse 1. The Hebrew verb vayakhel means to assemble, to gather together, and it has the same root as kehillah, a community, or in modern Hebrew is also the word congregation. We understand that only by becoming one community, one people, one nation, a politeia, will the Israelites be ready to build the Mishkan. This political dimension of the collective constructing of the Mishkan is symbolic to the founding of the Israelite nation, Am Israel, in modern Hebrew. Dozens of times in this weekly portion, we encounter the Hebrew word for the collective kol, kaf lamed, kol, which has various translations into English, including the whole, everyone, or all, aiming to a group of people or towards many materials. For example, only few of the verses in this portion, Moses said further to the whole community of Israelites, "Let all among you gold objects of all kinds, everyone who had in his possession," etc., etc. In most cases, this word refers to the craftsman, and on occasion to the craft itself. Educators know that the use of repetition helps the concept sink into the minds of the learners. And the Torah does that here. The commentators understood that the repetition of the word kol emphasized the importance of including everyone in the process of building the Mishkan. In order for the Mishkan to fulfill its purpose, it must be the product of a joint work by a collective without excluding anyone. The importance of gender inclusivity and equality is rare in the Bible, but it appears in this portion. Men and women, all whose hearts move them. No wonder that it is said about the creator of the menorah in this portion, that he made the candlestick of pure gold, even its base and its shaft, its cups, its knobs, and its flowers were all one piece with it. Let's explore this as a metaphor. This unique gold lamp was made as one piece and is comparable to the Israelites becoming one nation. Beyond it being a unification experiment and seen as a nation-building project, constructing the Mishkan included the detailed artistic expression of the master craftsman Bezalel ben Uri. The Mishkan is not only a political act, but rather a cultural institution, and was fashioned artistically with great detail and ornamentation. Bezalel was a master of many trades. He worked with gold, with wood, with fabrics and animal skins. He prepared the curtains of the tabernacle. He built a closet, he built a table, pillars. He created bowls and spoons, and the highlight, of course, was the menorah and the altar. It is no coincidence that the Torah says of Bezalel and his colleagues that they were wise-hearted men, kol chacham lev be'osei hamelacha, whom God gave wisdom and understanding to know how to do the work. Thus, only very talented artists with vision, unique abilities, and unconventional thinking, probably those outside the politics of the community, only these extraordinary people could have designed this sacred place as the center for the emerging culture. There is a fertile tension that exists between the unifying concerns of the community through politics in the public realm and the cultural and artistic individualism of the greatest of artists that ultimately led to the successful construction of the Mishkan. All of us can no doubt relate to this tension, since we live in a world where politics and culture are complementary forces. While we think about the overlapping differences between politics and culture and the important roles that each plays in our lives as individuals and as a collective, I suggest we considered Israel in a similar way. I, as an Israeli liberal Jew, and you as progressive North American Jews, think about Israel maybe differently. During my time in California this year, I have talked to many of you, read articles, and heard lots of opinions. What is striking to me is that the main lens through which North American Jews, as a whole, of course, not everybody, but many North American Jews look at Israel is the political lens. Try to imagine what the first association that come to your mind when you hear about Israel. It seems to me that most of us immediately think about the settlements, the occupation, Netanyahu or Bennett, the Western Wall, religion and state, the Orthodox rabbinate, and discrimination. And yet again, maybe again, the occupation. All of these associations are painful, and our moral critique about them is crucial. I myself am what we call in Latin homo politicus. I am constantly connected to the news, reading and thinking about the situation and striving for change. Yet, I always try to remind myself of Bezalel ben Uri, to remember that Israel is far more than a political project of establishing a state for the Jewish people, a home for Jews from all over the world and for local Palestinians. Nor is it only a place where difficult political decisions are made daily. Israel is also where Hebrew culture has been revived, and the Israeli culture is rich and filled with positive energies of renewal. The Hebrew language, literature and poetry, music, painting and design, plastic arts and jewelry, dance and theater, film and television, photography and architecture, humor and cartoons, archaeology and historical research, folklore and cooking, agriculture, science, all these erupt endless creativity, and they paint a different character of the contemporary Israeli collective. I admit, sometimes it seems from a distance that Israel is all one menorah, made of hard material that parts of which cannot be separated. But it should be remembered that this craft is created by many artists, and that politics is only one part of the Israeli story. It is no coincidence that the leading academic institution of art in Israel, established as early as 1906 in Jerusalem as part of the Zionist revolution, was named after the biblical character of Bezalel. Unfortunately and sadly, I feel that part of the younger generation of liberal American Jewry is not exposed to those elements of Israeli society, and therefore misses an important part of the state's Jewish identity. Israeli politics is a topic that every Jew in North America considers in one way or another, and some of you are also justifiably very active about it. But if this is the major lens through which we look eastward to Jerusalem, we will not be able to build the Mishkan together. Some of our congregants, and certainly many young people, are not homo politicus, and so if the main Israel engagement we offer is only political, they will turn away. Those of us who do find politics exciting may be disappointed or even angry by Israeli politics and not be patient enough to bring about change. I'm afraid we'll find ourselves losing in both fronts, as most of our congregants will disengage themselves eventually. To restore confidence in the principle that Israel is an essential part of the modern Jewish identity of every Jew, I suggest, I urge you, even beg you, to maintain a balance between the political and the cultural in the way you make Israel accessible to congregants, and especially young people and young adults. There are many ways to do this, and some are even fun, like we did tonight. We can figure this out together. The Israel engagement programming conducted in many Reform congregations around the country should maintain the fertile tension between the political and the cultural. The works of art by Bezalel and his modern successors are no less important to our Jewish identity than the politics of forming an independent Jewish collective in our homeland. The Mishkan, the Torah tells us, is not only a place representing our people's values, but also a place of creativity and diverse generative expressions. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Yishar Koach. Ish Chayil.
Oops. Thank you, Adar. That was beautiful. And it was bringing me back to my time when I lived in Jerusalem and got to go to the to visit the Bezalel Academy in Jerusalem. And it really is quite impressive what the artists from that community have created over the decades. In fact, if anybody, I think Bezalel Academy artists, I think, are the ones. How many have a menorah or some sort of some sort of Jewish artifact from Israel from the 1950s, 60s, or 70s? That's unique green metal that I do not know what it is. So a lot of those are actually made by the artists from the Bezalel
It
Academy.
probably was copper, and
Was
then
it
it
copper?
turned green.
But it's a very distinctive Israeli look.
Bezalel art doesn't look like that anymore.
No, it's now much better. But it was still, I think, almost every Jewish home had something
For sure, I see
from
it
there.
every time we visit a congregant. I see the same greenish menorah.
Exactly. Well, I think there were 3 designs.
3?
Yeah.
I've seen one. Look for the other 2.
So we come back together after we have created that kehillah that Adar was speaking about. And we create it not just with the intentions in our hearts, but we also create it with the words of our mouths, with the prayers that we utter. And I'm going to invite you to turn to our handout where many of our prayers will come from tonight, where we look for inspiration on this Shabbat from the world that we live in. That in Judaism, there really is no separation between the secular and the holy. That everything in our world has the potential of being elevated to something sacred. It's all in how we see it. It's all in how we use it. And so we look to secular music to find a new way to see the world, see it through new eyes. And so please join us for the Baruch on page 1 of our handout.
I have one little amendment to the words, which is in the chorus when it says, "Come on, people, smile on your brother." We're going to change that to smile on each other because, we're not all brothers. Some of us are sisters and siblings, whatever we are. Love is but a song we sing. Fear's the way we die. You can make the mountains ring or make the angels cry. Though the bird is on the wing and you may not know why. Come on, people, now, smile on each other, everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. Some may come and some may go. This will surely pass. When the one that left us here returns for us at last. We are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. Come on, people, now, smile on each other, everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. If you hear the song we sing, you will understand. Just listen. You hold the key to love and fear in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both. It's there at your command. Come on, people, now, smile on each other, everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. Come on, people, now, smile on each other, everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. Right now, right now. Well, the sun is surely sinking down, but the moon is slowly rising. So this old world must be spinning round and I still love you. So close your eyes. You can close your eyes, it's all right. I don't know no love songs, and I can't sing the blues anymore. But I can sing this song, and you can sing this song when I'm gone. And it won't be long before another day we're gonna have a good time, and nobody's gonna take that time away. You can stay as long as you like. So close your eyes. You can close your eyes, it's all right. I don't know no love songs, and I can't sing the blues anymore. But I can sing this song. You can sing this song when I'm gone.
Continue on page 2 of our song sheets.
When we look for God, we very often look above, but that seems to be so very far away. And in spending time with you, I realize God is in our love, fueling fire in our love, our lives from day to day. Lev b'lev, heart in heart, where my hand stops, your hand starts in a circle of love that never ends. Lev b'lev, heart in heart, God's been with us from the start. In a complicated world, you'll need a friend, and so I'll keep you close to me, Lev b'lev. When we listen to God's voice, we think we'll hear it loud and clear, like a giant clap of thunder from the sky. But in singing songs with you, it is the most attentive ear that knows God dwells in the words for us to find. Lev b'lev, heart in heart, where my hand stops, your hand starts, in a circle of love that never ends. Lev b'lev, heart in heart, God's been with us from the start. In this complicated world, you'll need a friend, And so I'll keep you close to me, lev b'lev. When we yearn for God's touch, we hope that pain will go away. In an instant, in a moment, be renewed. But as we work together toward that sacred, peaceful day, we learn that God heals each of us through me and you. Lev b'lev, heart and heart, where my hand stops, your hand starts, in a circle of love that has no end. Lev b'lev, heart and heart, God's been with us from the start. In this complicated world, you'll need a friend. So I'll keep you close to me, lev b'lev.
We take a deep breath and close our eyes and prepare for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed.
154. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמת.
Page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות Adonai yimloch leolam vaed. Malachutecha ra'u vanecha hokeaya lifnei Moshe u'Miriam she'eli anu ve'ameru she'eli anu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch leolam vaed. Mi kamocha be'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi kamocha be'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. V'nehemar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, ugelo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael.
So often, when we're in a place of pain or fear or suffering, we become paralyzed, uncertain how to move forward, uncertain how to get out of the place where we so desperately want to get away from. If you turn to your handouts with the Hashkivenu reminds us that we don't go through this world by ourselves. That if we but open up our hearts, we will find that God dwells not only with us, but within us. And sometimes it feels good to simply sit back and allow the love to surround you, to feel a sense of support, of shelter, of guidance, and to see how we can truly make our day, each and every day, a song of praise, and to help us get out of the dark places. Page 2 of our song sheet.
Oh, guide my steps, help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps.
Oh, guide my steps.
Ufro,
And help me find my way.
Alleluia.
I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps.
Ufros,
Help me find my way.
Alleluia.
I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps.
Oh, guide my steps. Help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Rock me in your
arms and
guide my steps.
In the prayer of Amidah that you can find on page 178 now, there are different parts of the Shabbat prayer that are slightly different than a regular weekday Amidah prayer. And I'd like us, especially tonight, to pray together on page 178. And I don't know if we talked about this, Rabbi, but in Israel, the Reform movement added 2 words to the Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, and all of Israel. And we add ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, and all of the habitats of the universe, of humanity. And I remember the first time I added that in my Cholon congregation, and there was a moment of, wait a minute, where did that come from? But I think if there's something that the world has taught us, the universe has taught us in the past 2 years, is that we are one texture, connected, interconnected universe of people. We're all part of this texture of humanity that is so fragile and so interconnected. And I think after probably 6 years now that we've been saying Al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, on all the people of the world, I think it's now in Cholon become part of our language. And this prayer on 178 really talks about blessing us, the people of Israel, with peace. But today I want us again to widen our perspective and to include Kol Yoshvei Tevel, all of the people in the world. So you may join me in Hebrew with a transliteration, or you can read the prayer on 178 in English in the middle of the page. And let us think and pray that the common sense and the need and healing and life will overcome other interests and other forces that at times lead the way, and we are all very, very worried. Shalom Rav al Israel Amcha tasim le'olam, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני, המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל.
Are we doing Nish?
Okay.
As Rabbi Galit so beautifully said as we prayed that prayer for peace, that the last 2 years have taught us that we're interconnected. We've also learned that when we lose that connection, it's toxic. It's literally toxic to our health. That as human beings, we need to be connected to one another. And when we lose the ability to touch someone, to hug someone, to see their faces, to be in presence with someone else, it can literally make us sick. Never in my time as a rabbi, never in my life, have I seen so many people suffer as in the last 2 years. It's impossible to find appointments for people who need to see a therapist or a psychiatrist. It's impossible to find the care that people need after 2 years of disrupted life, of being separated from the people we love, being separated even from people we don't particularly like, but depended on seeing each and every day. Who knew that we would miss yelling at people in traffic? Not that I ever yell at people in traffic.
Never.
But as human beings, it makes us sick to be separated. And so as we pray for healing, let's remember what a blessing it is to be interconnected. Let's remember how healing it is to reach out one person to another. Let us always assume that there is something going on in someone's life that we do not know about. And so we should be gentle with them and kind to them and use our words wisely, because we never know what may be happening in someone else's life. May they be suffering from some illness. May they suffer from sadness. We just don't know. So as we pray for healing, let's begin with ourselves. Pray that we shall find a wholeness within ourselves, wholeness of body and spirit, that we will use our strength to bring healing and hope to those around us, comfort to all who are in need, and that from there we'll spread out again and again and again to all who are in need of healing.
El Narefanala, El Narefanala, El Narefanala, El Narefanala. And Moses cried, Hail Miriam, Hail Miriam, this I pray. And Moses cried, Hail Miriam, Hail Miriam, this I pray. El Narefanala, El Narefanala. Lie, die, 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 die. Lie, die, die. Lie, die, 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 die. Lie, die, die. Lie, die, 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 die. Lie, die, die. Lie, die, die, die. El Narefanala. El Narefanala.
We continue in our handout on page 3 with a prayer for peace.
Peace, peace will come. Let it begin with me. We need peace, and let it begin with me. Oh, my own life is all I can hold to control. Oh, let my life be lived for the good of my soul. Let it bring peace, sweet peace. Peace will come, and let it begin with me. Peace, peace will come. Let it begin with me. Oh, we need peace, and let it begin with me. Oh, my own life is all I can hold to control. Oh, let my life be lived for the good of my soul. Let it bring peace, sweet peace. Peace will come, and let it begin with me. Let it begin with me. Let it begin with me.
For the last last 3 weeks, before the Kaddish, we have remembered someone in Israeli society who contributed in their own way, either through the way that they touched the lives of the people around them, whether they contributed to the creation of the state, in so many different ways. But tonight, instead of speaking of somebody from Israeli society, I want to speak about somebody on our Kaddish list who is from the B'nai Israel Society, from our congregation. We have been blessed with so many extraordinary people as members of our congregation. So many people who I miss so much, who I had the honor of getting to know while I've been here. And one of the people that's on our list tonight is Sam Siskin. Sam Siskin was a giant of a man, or at least by Jewish standards, a giant of a man. He was probably about 6'3", broad shoulders. He must have been in the neighborhood of 90 when he passed away, and he still had thick white hair, a head of hair that like a man of 20 would still be jealous of. And Sam was a character. He'd been a member of the temple since after World War II, when he married his beloved Joyce and raised his 2 daughters here at the temple, lived just over in Southland Park. And he owned a pawn shop downtown where all the Jews owned all the pawn shops that were downtown back in the 40s and the 50s. And he went into work every single day up until he got too sick shortly before he passed away. He knew everybody. He knew everybody's name. He greeted every single person with a smile. But what I loved about him was his modesty and his humility. And at his funeral, I heard a story about him that touched me deeply. There was another member of our synagogue who was also from Stockton, and in the old days, all the Jews in B'nai Israel were related to each other, or seemed to be, weren't they all related to each other? I'm pretty sure they were all related.
They're all named Taka.
And Sam had a tough childhood, raised by a single mom. And when he moved down to Stockton, he lived near one of his cousins. And his cousin was not as big as he was. And it was not easy to be a Jewish kid in Stockton. It was really not easy to be a little, scrawny Jewish kid in Stockton. And Sam's cousin used to get beat up and threatened and bullied all the time. And Sam was quite a few years older than him. And when he found out about this, he would walk his cousin to school and walk his cousin home every single day. Never said anything to him about it, never embarrassed him about it, but he just showed up every single day. And when Sam passed away, his cousin, who was also quite an old man, just cried and talked about how Sam had been his guardian angel. And that's how we're supposed to behave. We're supposed to go through this world as though we're malachim, messengers of God, not seeking glory, not seeking attention, but doing the right thing simply because it is the right thing. And that was one of the lessons that I learned from Sam. And so, as I look at his name tonight, as I'll say his name aloud, I'll be thinking of him and Joyce and all the joy that they brought into the world, and how blessed all of us were who knew them. So we turn our thoughts now to loved ones who have passed away, either in recent days or at this time in years past. And it is with great sadness that we announce the recent passing of Stephen Spielvogel, the beloved husband of our member Robin Spielvogel, and loving father to another member of our congregation, Ryan Spielvogel, and beloved grandfather to Kavi and Aram and Vina Spielvogel. Also, with great sadness, we recall the recent passing of Aaron Wolf, the beloved brother-in-law of Eve and David Panish, and loving uncle of Michael and Jennifer Panish. And sadly, we recall the recent passing of Jordan Olanik, the beloved grandfather of Andrea and Jordan Davis Olanik. And sadly, we also recall the passing of our longtime member, Barry Swerdloff, the beloved husband of Chris Swerdloff, loving father of Courtney and Alexa Swerdloff. Zichronam livracha, may their memories forever be a blessing. We also recall loved ones who've passed away at this time in years past. We remember Frank Edelman, Lillian Berg, Pauline Blackman, Isabella Bloomberg, Shirley Cahotis, Dorothy Davis, Solomon Dornfeld, Ida Eisenberg, Pearl Emick, Mary Fassler, Saul Fink, Christopher Fisher, Leonard Friedman, Gussie Greenberg, Leon Greenberg, Dorothy Hughes, Marilyn Hughes, Carlton Hussey, Herman Kirschbrown, Adele Kirschbrown, Alan Kraus, Barbara Lemley, Lena Len, Anita Levine, Abe Levy, Mildred Lippman, Clara Moskowitz, Myron Nathan, Patricia Osuna, Jennifer Pellman, Norman Rothschild, Lauren Rubenstein, Nellie Samaville, Shirley Seraph, Emma Schoen, Etta Sperber, Samuel Siskin, Emmanuel Sloan, Harold Small, Marvin Spitz, Myrtle Spitz, Jenny Steinberg, Herman Trigger, Herman Triger, Israel Wasserman, and Tom Ziegenfuss. If there are any names that anyone would like to add to the Kaddish list, please feel free, if you're joining us from home, to write the name in the chat. And if you are with us, please feel free to call that name aloud as my gaze meets yours. If you are saying Kaddish for a loved one tonight, I would like to invite you to please rise. And if the congregation would join me in these words of comfort. Hamakom yenechem etchem betok sha'ar of Leit Zion v'Yushalayim. May God comfort you among the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. We rise to offer comfort to those who grieve as we continue together with the mourners Kaddish. On page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gala uv'izman kari v'yamru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam omei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shamaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us all say, Amen. It's my pleasure now to invite up Daniel Kaufman to represent our Board of Trustees for some announcements and Shabbat greetings.
Yeah. Daniel, in the meanwhile, can I just thank someone until you start talking? No thanking tonight. I just wanted to say thank you, Rabbi Alfie, because when Michael and I met for coffee that day, and we knew that Julie was on sabbatical for the entire month of February, and we had this idea to maybe try to do things a little differently, you just danced with us.
Just got right on it.
Right on it. You were moving so fast, we were trying to catch up. And I know that change isn't always trivial. I know this with Ryan Berman, you changed everything around to make this possible. Thank you, Dean, for making this possible. And thanking everyone here. Just trying new things together really brought me a lot of joy and has been so meaningful for me. So thank you for your trust and your friendship and your cooperation and partnership. Thank you, Michael, and thank you all.
Anytime you have an idea, Rabbi Galit, I am always game to say yes.
And thank you for your ruach that you brought to us.
All right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Daniel Kaufman. I'm the Vice President of Development on the Board of Directors, and I just wanted to invite my fellow board members to briefly stand up and introduce themselves. Judy? Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Judy Hyman. I am a board member at large and chair of the Racial Justice Committee.
Hi, I'm Jason Weiner. I'm a board member at large and co-chair of Social Action.
Thanks, Jason. And is that all you do? You have no other prominent positions in the reform movement currently?
I recently joined the Commission on Social Action. Oh, sorry. I recently joined the Commission on Social Action.
Of the URJ?
Yasher Koha.
I didn't know that, Jason. That's exciting. All right. So our fearless president is not here tonight, and so I found out about 45 minutes ago that I get to deliver the announcement. So we'll see how this goes, and Josh can assess afterwards. So tonight, after services, there is an oneg, I believe, in the courtyard. Tomorrow, there is a tourist study, a virtual tourist study via Zoom with Brian Landsberg. That will be at 9:30 in the morning. On Sunday at 10 a.m., also on Zoom, there is a program strengthening our ties with Kodesh V'chol in Israel. And that is going to be with the director of the Israel Religious Action Center, as well as Rabbi Galit and Adar, and a few lay leaders from Kodesh V'chol. You can visit the Strengthening Our Ties event webpage for program details and to register. Also on Sunday, a longtime CBI member, Jonathan Brosen, will be teaching a 6-week course on biblical Hebrew. So that begins on Sunday. Classes will be on Sunday afternoons at CBI, and again, registration is open until Sunday, so get it while it's hot. You can register today. A few things coming up. Next weekend is Stars and S'mores. So for next Friday, so that is the Camp Shabbat at a number of families will be at Camp Newman. So services will not be live here. They will actually be live at Camp Newman, but they will be available through live stream. So if you were planning on attending services next week to recite Kaddish, please email Dominique Evans, our clergy assistant, to make arrangements to have your loved one's name read the following week, Friday, March 11th, or at another service when you're able to attend. A few other things that are coming up. Mini Minyan is on next Saturday, March 5th. Tat Shabbat is the following week on Friday, March 11th. That Friday is also a membership Shabbat, our annual membership Shabbat, where we'll celebrate our membership and we'll honor all of our new members. So we would invite you to come and celebrate with us and spend Shabbat together. Pajama Havdalah, which was originally scheduled for tomorrow, has been postponed to Saturday, March 26th. And then just a few more announcements, and then I will get out of the way. If you would like to attend Friday Shabbat services in person, registration is no longer required, so please come join us in the sanctuary. And as a reminder, starting on March 1st, which I believe is next Tuesday, all persons aged 5 and older must be fully vaccinated to be on the CBI campus at all times. So that includes worship services, programs and events during religious school and Hebrew school. You can verify your vaccination status on the CBI website. It's very easy to do, and it makes life very easy in terms of checking everyone. So if you, any other information that you need, feel free to go to the CBI website. And other than that, I will say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And one little added nugget of fun to make next Friday a little bit more complicated for those of you who are watching from home next week. Services will actually be at 6:30 and not at 7:30. So you'll have two ways to watch it. Either watch it live as it happens at 6:30, or wait 2 hours, or wait till like 8 o'clock, and it'll be posted on our YouTube page.
Or watch both and compare and see if there are differences.
Oh, see which one is better. It's like when an East Coast, West Coast
Exactly,
broadcast. That works. See if anything gets edited out. So the prayer for peace is really that prayer. As Rabbi Galit was talking about, that we added the words Yoshvei Tevel, we pray for all the peoples of the world. There's so many prayers that I have, but they're a little too reminiscent of the rabbi's prayer in Fiddler on the Roof. You know, where they say, is there a blessing for the Tsar? And he says, yes, you know, may God make him far, far away. I have blessings like that for Putin, but I'm not sure it's appropriate to say on Shabbat. So yeah, I pray that the leaders of the world consider their own people and understand that death is good for no one, that they seek peace and prosperity in their own land and to encourage that in the lands of their neighbors, to recognize borders so that they may be peaceful, and that trade and tourists cross borders and no longer tanks.
Amen. May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung, and may you stay forever young. Forever young, forever young, may you stay forever young. May you grow up to be righteous, may you grow up to be true. May you always know the truth and see the light surrounding you. May you always be courageous, stand upright and be strong. May you stay forever young. Forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young. May your hands always be busy. May your feet always be swift. May you have a strong foundation when the winds of changes shift. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung. And may you stay forever young. Forever young. Forever young. May you stay forever young. Forever young, forever young,
So for those of you online, that concludes our service. For those of you who are dying to get to the Oneg, we just have to do the Kiddush and the Motzi before we could go outside.
Ivrit, you want to help us with Kiddush? No, you don't have to. אתה רוצה להחזיק?
I don't work on Shabbat.
What page is it? אתה רוצה להחזיק את הכוס? תעזור לי, תגיד בוא רגע. עוד לא.
Page 123.
Yes, it works. Were you not? Can you hold it? Or does עברי, אתה רוצה לחזוק? בבקשה. ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. סברי! ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצבנו ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים ולשלום ולרחמים.
Sure, no. Wonderful wine, Dean. Thank you.
But it's not as tasty as the challah.
I'm sure.
You know, I'm only sad that this month is ending.
The one outside, though, is a fresh one.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המוציא לחם מן הארץ. אמן. בתי אבון,
תודה רבה.
שבת שלום.